Hello and welcome to a special look at the Thrustmaster T300 Ferrari GTE Racing Wheel as part of my initiative to solve the Racing Wheel Conundrum on the PlayStation 4. All of this, of course, is detailed in my article linked within the description of this video. Before I move on to evaluating the finer details and performance of the GTE on project cars and other forthcoming PlayStation 4 racing games for that matter, here's but a brief look at the various physical components and setup of the wheel itself. Included within an enormous 10 kilograms of packaging is firstly the massive T300 RS wheelbase. In itself, a major contributor of the 10 kilograms I mentioned prior, the wheelbase allows for easy attachment of a number of Thrustmaster racing wheels via what Thrustmaster is calling his quick release system. Now, there's no system as such, and it's nothing state of the art as its name suggests, but being able to quickly fix a wheel by lining its connectors up with those of the wheelbases and having to tighten but a single screw keeps things fairly easy. Also included in the wheelbase is a brushless motor. Without going into too much detail, a brushless motor allows for smoother, swifter wheel movements as opposed to brush motors such as those found in Logitech's G27, Driving Force GT, and even the upcoming G29s. While this might not seem like much of a big deal, it is when high-speed racing and drifting comes into the picture, allowing for more precise wheel control, especially when a vehicle begins to slide. And then there's Thrustmaster's Hall Effect Accurate Technology, or HART. HART relies on the use of magnetic sensors, allowing for nearly 65,000 independent measurable steering values. What this means is that the wheel is highly precise, and since all the work is done by magnets rather than complex machinery, the wheel itself is resistant to wear and tear. Taking advantage of all that wizardry is full 1080-degree rotation, although it's highly unlikely you would be making full use of it. And then there's the most peculiar feature of them all, Thrustmaster's cooling mechanism. Now I say peculiar because, you see, according to this little manual, the wheel's cooling system is composed of a heatsink and a fan. When the wheel gets too heated, the fan kicks in, the force feedback drops, and you're left with a frightening rumble that initially made me think it was a neighbor's husband doing some drilling on a Sunday afternoon. In fact, you might be forced to stop using the wheel for a while as it tremors and resists any movement, causing you to wonder if you have broken it. That can get quite annoying, really. In games such as project cars that require heavy force feedback, this might happen quite a lot, as you would imagine. Some say that their wheels turn off after 15 minutes of gameplay, although mine hasn't acted as weirdly yet. Moving on to aesthetics. Composed of what seems like quality plastic, the wheelbase itself is rather well crafted, with little details such as symmetrically placed vents and Thrustmaster wordings inscribed at the back adding to its appeal. Despite the wheelbase being compatible with the PC, the design itself is highly PlayStation centric with specific L3 R3 buttons, a latch that lets you specify if you're on the PlayStation 3 or the PlayStation 4, and even a cute little mode button that lets you interchange the gas and brake pedals. In terms of space then, it is no surprise the wheelbase is massive, occupying nearly an entire foot. Moreover, its large size and weight calls for a sturdy setup brought about by the attachment clamp and fastening screw. Now the space required by the clamp on the underside of the table for a stable fastening is about 5 inches in length, and this could pose an issue if the underside of the table is filled with a keyboard slot or drawer like mine was. Long story short then, if you're looking to buy a T300, make sure you have a proper desk to place it on. Moving on to the T300 GTE wheel itself, which happens to be a 7:10 scale replica of the original Ferrari 458 Challenge race cars wheel. Built of complete metal and coated with a rubber texture that provides a substantial amount of grip, the resemblance to the actual Ferrari wheel itself is rather striking, even if the red stripe might look like it came out of a Christmas decoration. The paddles do move with the wheel, which keeps gear changes rather simple and do click satisfyingly. And then of course there are the buttons. Now, although they indicate otherwise, these buttons function as the circle, X, square, triangle, L2 and R2 buttons, with the knob functioning as a PS or a share button. Now, even though they can be changed, these mappings can be rather annoying to keep track of, especially on the PS4's user interface. To which you're probably thinking you're better off with the standard T300 RS model? Perhaps, but I would still like the official Ferrari replica sitting in my room, since I cannot afford the real one. Finally, the pedals themselves, which happen to be rather comfortable, and even if they're not, you can adjust their height and spacing to up to 6 different values. The springs offer a substantial amount of resistance, allowing for precise throttle control and braking. The finishing of the metal itself is top-notch. Yet, one particular issue I found was the lack of substantial grip offered by the rubber on the pedal's underside. This poses an issue to those with ceramic tiling at home, as the pedals do tend to move away from your feet quite a bit. In which case, you would probably be better off with a rug under those pedals, but I just wish Thrustmaster had included spike grips such as those that were found under the Logitech Driving Force GT, even if they did look a bit tacky. All that aside, I genuinely am enjoying the T300 GTE, even if it isn't without a few flaws. Flaws that, in all fairness, are attributed to the design of Project Cars itself. Of course, more of that in my written article that is to follow. Till then, I hope you enjoyed this. Please stay tuned and keep sending in the Thrustmaster feedback.